My niggas they slowing, my niggas they slowing, my niggas they slow.
LaMelo Ball is the most disrespected star in the NBA. Yeah, I said what I said. The most disrespected star in the NBA. Find out why I say this and more when you return in the
Bumping Berg 60.
to discern in today's day and age. Trolling from someone being serious. And it's getting to the point with LaMelo Ball, it's hard to tell if people are just undervaluing the talent that he is, or people realizing that they can make a living trolling about the talent that he is. Before I talk about that, do me a favor. Make sure y'all run the likes up on this video to help us push through the algorithm and get us to the top of the NBA YouTube verse. And also subscribe to the channel. You see this thing right here, it's called the Lit Cord. If you want to be part of all of the LiTHoUse NBA watch party, Charlotte Hornets NBA watch parties, then you're going to have to click on this link right here below, the Lit Cord. We do film sessions, we have watch-along parties, we do all kind of things involving the NBA, especially the Charlotte Hornets and especially LaMelo Ball. If you want to be a part of that, make sure you hit the link to the Lit Cord. And first, share this video, like this video, and subscribe to the channel. I mean, it's getting to the point with LaMelo where things are just taking a preposterous turn. I mean, as you can see, I'm one of the main channels that is still speaking up for LaMelo Ball and the talent that I think he is. This was never a fair weather situation for me. This was never a fanboying situation for me. The reason why I speak up for his talent versus that of his brothers is because I see him as a generational savant level player. And I'm not just talking about him scoring the basketball or him shooting the basketball at 37% or 38% from three, or the amazing passes he makes, or the fact that he has handles like a smaller guard at 6'7". The reason why I am going to be the last to probably die on this hill is because I understand how many ways he affects the game with the basketball in his hands and with the basketball out of his hands. Scoring the basketball and not scoring the basketball. Passing the ball without and not passing the basketball. Just his infectious energy and what it's done to the Charlotte Hornets team. This Charlotte Hornet roster that I must continue to say before him was wallowing in a 4 to 5 year depression of not sniffing the playoffs. This is for a guy that a lot of pundits said should not be drafted at one point in time before late in the first round. Even when he was drafted number 3, he was drafted as a supposed project. This is a situation where a young man has been undervalued every step of the way. And when he's proven his value, instead of people owning up to the fact that they're wrong about him, they continue to push the narratives that he's overrated. It's to the point now that we're starting to see posts with NBA pages from NBA quote-unquote writers that are saying things like, who would you rather have in the next 5 years, LaMelo Ball or Austin Reeves? It's like LaMelo becomes the barometer for, or the punchline of a bad joke, or an easy click title for somebody to throw his name out there and just throw any name that you want to elevate. And because people have such a bad taste in their mouth about LaMelo Ball, instead of looking at his game, instead of actually watching the Charlotte Hornets games during this 2023 season, instead of just going to look at some film and looking at his numbers and looking at how well he shoots the basketball, it's like he's always on the sell low market. And there's no rational reason for this. When you look at where the Hornets were before they drafted him versus where they've been after they drafted him, it's a no-brainer. One of the main things that we hear about LaMelo is that he doesn't attribute to winning, or he doesn't contribute to winning. to winning basketballs. When you look at the first 2 years that he was in Charlotte, they were in play-in games. Some years they finished as high as 9th or 8th. You know what I'm saying? Some years they finished as high as 10th in the East. And for most teams that have had playoff success, that may not be impressive to you. But for a team that still has not touched the playoffs, now going on 8 years, to draft a guy at the time who was 19 years old that had the ability to do that in year one, in year two, and he gets his teammates involved, he spreads the basketball around, to be doubting his ability or how he contributes to winning basketball, to me, you're just being disingenuous. We see posts like the one I showed earlier, but now it's getting even further, where now they're ranking the top 15 point guards in the league or the top 15 guards in the league, and LaMelo's not even scratching the surface. Even though, once again, I must repeat, he is the 4th youngest All-Star behind Kobe Bryant. Like, what is it going to take for this guy to get his respect? What is it going to take for this guy to get his recognition? What is it going to take? Is he becoming a casualty of the lack of moves that the Charlotte Hornets have made in free agency and the lack of moves that the Charlotte Hornets have made to make this a winning roster? Is he just the fall guy for Charlotte? We always talk about how guys like quote-unquote LeBron and D. Wade and Kevin Durant, they chase rings and they chase these super teams. But when you have a guy that is loyal to a small market team and that small market team does not do what it's supposed to do to make them competitive and get them over the hump, instead of saying, okay, well, this is the reason why LeBron left Cleveland and this is the reason why KD left OKC, even though I think KD's situation is a lot different. But this is the reason why these players are leaving and trying to go to winning teams like Dame Lillard, finally asking out of Portland. You know what I'm saying? Instead of saying the reason for doing this is because the front office will not help these guys out, you rather blame LaMelo for doing more with less instead of blame the organization for trying to do less and go get more. Like, it makes no sense. I don't understand why this guy is constantly disrespected and the butt of jokes and the butt of doubters because he plays in a market that's not the biggest in the league, and he plays on a team that obviously has made no major free agency signings. I told you, go look at all of his contemporaries. Anthony Edwards, look at who he played with. D'Angelo Russell, Karl Anthony Towns, Jared Vanderbilt, Jaden McDaniels, you know what I'm saying? Nas Reed, all of these guys, all of these great role players and supporting stars and supporting cast. Trae Young, Clint Capella, DeJounte Murray, in the playoffs, Danilo Gallinari, that year they went to the Eastern Conference Finals, was exceptional. Bogdanovich, all of this talent that Trae Young has played with. Luka Doncic is playing with Kyrie Irving, for God's sakes. Darius Garland, he's playing with Evan Mobley and Josh Allen and all of this talent. Donovan Mitchell. Tyrese Halliburton has a loaded roster full of young, budding talent in Indiana. But when it comes to LaMelo, De'Aaron Fox, Malik Monk, Sabonis, Rashawn Holmes, you know what I'm saying? Cade Cunningham, Jalen Duran. Now they draft Oscar Thompson. And they have this loaded, young talent, young talented core, to the point where Detroit was so good, they could spare Sadiq Bey and trade him. LaMelo is the only one amongst his contemporaries that is expected to do more with less, and when they don't put pieces around him, they blame him. But you mean to tell me that Anthony Edwards doesn't have enough in Minnesota with Rudy Gobert and Karl Anthony Towns after having D'Angelo Russell, who was 2 years removed at the time from an All-Star appearance? I just don't understand the disrespect. But if you think I'm tripping, y'all let me know down there in the comment section below. Is LaMelo Ball the most disrespected young star in the NBA, or is Rev tripping? Let me know what you think when you watch this video. Make sure you share this video, like this video, subscribe to the channel. As always, it's the mighty LaMelo.